Please read the disclaimer. Holy smokus, it ain't no jokus. XRP holders, we got so much to talk about. No time to lose. Let's get straight into it. I want to start out with the price action here. Currently, XRP is sitting at $1.42, down minus 3.4% on the day. Bitcoin down 1.8%. Ethereum back down under 2,000 at 2.5%. Solana dropping almost 4.6% here. There's a few things that have brought the market down. The first one is the current situation between Iran and the United States of America and potentially Israel. Axios reports that there's evidence that U.S. war with Iran is imminent, and Israel is preparing for scenarios of war within days, which is expected to include all these things, right? And on that, we're seeing that the world has never been this uncertain. Global uncertainty just reached its highest level in history. The World Uncertainty Index, WI, has now surpassed every major crisis: 9/11, Iraq War, COVID crash, all fueled by Trump's tariffs and shaky global trade and potentially the situation here. Now, currently, this has been a double whammy with how you can see oil going up, gold going up, silver going up, crypto dropping, stock market dropping. So stock market, dropping here. But that is not because of the fear from the Iran situation. It actually all started going into the meeting minutes, right? So their Fed meeting minutes came out at that time, and the committee reaffirms its judgment that inflation at the rate of 2% is most consistent over the longer run with the Federal Reserve's statutory maximum employment and price stability mandates. And you can see that people are already saying today FOMC meetings confirm rate cuts are coming. Several officials said rate cuts would likely be appropriate if inflation keeps declining. Most participants warned disinflation progress could slow while economic activity outlook remains stronger than expected. And so that's what caused this sell-off, right? Because in the morning it was coming up. As soon as the meeting minutes came out here, we saw the markets start selling off. It was a pre kind of sell-off, and then as soon as we got the information, we saw the market start coming down here, and that coincided with the crypto market that did the same kind of thing, in the morning movement to the upside, or even when the stock market opened up. You can see 4:30 my time is when it opened up, it rose, but then the sell-off started happening with this headline. We know that crypto is very, very delicate on that headline about the Iran situation, and also the current situation with the FOMC meeting minutes. And we also had, where was it? Something about the Clarity Act here. Coinbase CEO and US Senator, the Clarity Act is coming hopefully by April. So that was actually a good thing that came here for the crypto market. And yet again, the crypto market reacts poorly because in the short term, it's reacting to fear. So as soon as there's fear, we see big sell-offs. Whereas the stock market, although it's sold off, we're seeing less fear. And we remember that this is a function of, or you could call it a disease of, right, the leverage. And so every time we have bad news or a little bit of a concern here, we see the leverage kick into play, and then we see the market drop, maybe react a little bit more extreme than if it was the stock market. Now the stock market again is selling off, but not at the same rate as the crypto market, which in total is about 1.78%. And if you go from the high of the day there to the low, it's about 2.75%. Whereas if you go, let's say, to the NASDAQ, if you want to put it in the same kind of bracket, so it's about 0.9% on that same sell-off, right? So, this is something that we have to take into consideration, that when we are investing in the crypto market, that there can be volatility, okay? And there's the possibility that if fearful news comes or uncertainty, remember, when there's uncertainty, investors have less probability to invest in high risk assets, which although you could say silver and gold are a little bit more higher risk than crypto right now, crypto is still looked at as a high risk asset. Okay, so we need to take that into consideration. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. So this was interesting. There was a like a CNBC. I think there was a few interviews that were going on because this is Coinbase CEO and the U.S. Senator. And here there was an interview from Trump, the Trump boys, right? They're boys, Eric Trump and Trump Jr. And you can see here, President Trump's son Eric says, "I've never been more bullish on Bitcoin in his life. I do think it hits 1 million. You're going to have volatility with something that has tremendous upside." So he's never been bullish in his life, right? And you go to the crypto fear index, and we're now in the one digit, right, on the crypto fear index, extreme fear. And this president's son is saying that he's never been more bullish, right, in his life. So that kind of raises a few alarms here. Previously, when Eric has said kind of similar things, the market has sold off on those things, right? So we have to take that into consideration that maybe this is not as good as maybe some people would think. But if he is very, very bullish, maybe he knows something, although again, the Clarity Act has to do with a lot of factors. And Coinbase CEO is bullish on the fact that it will go through. So we might be seeing short-term turmoil here in the crypto market. But if the Clarity Act does go through, I am pretty sure that the market will react positively to that. It doesn't mean that it will, right? Nothing is for sure in these markets, but there's high probability that it's sold off because of the uncertainty. And if it becomes certain and we know what's going to happen, then investors might come back in. Again, this is just theory. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out. This was interesting. 100 million FXRP. Oh, you don't see what I'm seeing. Was minted on Flare networks, meaning 100 million XRP now generating yield on the network. So we reported this a while back about this potential partnership here, and now it's starting to see some fruits where these people are earning yield on their XRP. So again, that's a possibility as well. Again, when you stake your assets, there's always the risk that it's staked, and if the markets are, crashing, you are in a pickle a little bit. But it does give yield. So that is a possibility that you can do with your XRP as well. Again, it's your decision what you want to do with your XRP. Interestingly, also Coinbase is actually offering crypto-backed loan offerings for USDC against XRP, Doge, Cardano, Litecoin, as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now you have the possibility, if you want, you can take out loans on your assets. It is another way that many people will use this kind of tactic in order to not pay, capital gain taxes, for example, because if you sell, you have capital gain taxes. Of course, make sure you understand the tax code in your country. Every single country is different. We talked about this just a few days ago, the situation in the Netherlands, which is a very draconian kind of taxation that they're proposing there, where unrealized capital gains might be taxed. So every single country is a little bit different. So make sure you understand what is the tax code in your country and how you can, use potentially this. For example, this is how the rich stay richer. They usually take loans out on their assets, and they don't sell the assets. They don't pay taxes on the assets. And then they take the loans, they buy more assets, right? They don't buy stuff, they buy assets. And that's how they grow their wealth without having that taxation, it's a big chunk, because let's say you have 100,000, profit, and then you sell, let's say 25%, easy for the math. So now you only have 75,000 because you have to pay the taxes. Well, now if you want to get back into the position, let's say it dropped but then came back to the same level, now you only have that 75,000 profit and not the 100,000 profit. So it's a big deal, right? So you always have to take that into consideration as well. Okay. It will be very interesting to see what happens here with the markets tonight. Is there any continuation of the sell off? We started out this morning looking okay, but then we have these things that come out and shift the market. We are going into the weekend with the we have initial jobless claims tomorrow, which could be a little bit volatile there. And then we have Friday, which is the big day, which is GDP and PCE index coming out. After the FOMC meeting minutes here with a more touch on inflation, I think many investors will be looking at that to see what's happening there. And so that could be together with the fact that the last two Fridays or weekends have been very, very, Thursday, Friday have been very, very volatile for the crypto market, right? Of course, the 5th and the 6th were very, very volatile here for XRP. And then, Friday, Saturday, Sunday even was very, very volatile for XRP as well. So it will be very interesting to see how everything plays out here for XRP. As always, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more XRP updates. Check out the links in the description down below, and you can always drop a comment. 8 for infinity and beyond, or XRP123, or drop where you're from, or whatever your heart desires. I really appreciate the engagement. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.